Joining us now, Republican Texas Congressman, 1st District, Louie Gohmert. Congressman, great to have you with us, sir.
Well, it's great to be on with you. Sorry to be slow, as it seems to run in our state. But anyway, great to be with you.
Okay, sir. It's always an honor to have you on. I want to get right to the ISIS situation. Ramadi falling, ISIS celebrating. Obama's coalition strategy seems to be pulling apart at the seams. What do we do now?
Well, actually, I think we do what we should have done a while ago. You analyze who your actual friends are, and that's where this administration has totally fallen down. We talked to people in the Middle East, Arab Muslims, and they go, why are you guys helping the Muslim Brotherhood? That's who's at war with you. You keep helping the people that are at war with you. And as long as this administration is going to keep helping the Muslim Brotherhood, we're in trouble. On the other hand, if you take a look at the winning strategy originally in Afghanistan, John, we went in with right about 300 special ops guys that embedded with the Northern Alliance, the tribal guys there. We let their people do the fighting. We just had some embedded people to help. We had aerial support, and we gave them weapons, and they whipped the Taliban between October of 2001 and February 2002. They had actually totally defeated the Taliban. And we could do that also in Syria and Iraq. We've got the Kurds there. They've never thrown down their guns. It's all these other Iraqis that have. And now after the ICE burned the Jordanian pilot alive, well, they got involved. You help our friends like the Kurds, but this administration will send weapons to the vetted moderate Syrian rebels who actually have said we're on the same side as the Islamic State, we're brothers, but we keep sending them weapons, and gee, amazingly, they keep ending up in the hands of the Islamic State. They will not send weapons directly to the Kurds. They send them to Baghdad. Well, Baghdad doesn't want the Kurds to have good weapons, so they're out there with nothing fighting our best weapons that are in the hands of ICE. Send weapons directly to the Kurds, embed some folks with them like we did in Afghanistan, and give them aerial support, not just a bombing every now and then, but I mean give them 24/7 bombing support, and we could have ICE defeated in absolutely no time.
Well, but one of the concerns, though, with that, Congressman Gohmert, is the Iraqi security forces, the Iraqi army, whatever you want to call the different factions of them. I mean, they just have yet to prove their mettle in every tough situation. Exactly. They don't seem to hold up. They run away. They abandon.
And John, that's why I am not saying give that kind of support to the Iraqi army. Those are the guys that threw down their weapons and ran originally when ICE came, and then again this week they've done it. I'm saying help the Kurds. They're up in northern Iraq. Those guys have never thrown down their weapons and run away. They're in for the fight. They're protecting their home. The only downside to that is that it'll upset Turkey because they're scared to death of the Kurds having more weapons on Turkey's southern border. And Turkey is a member of NATO, and they're supposed to be our ally. They won't even let us use our bases in Turkey to go after ICE. So I think when the Turks get upset, you tell them, look, you've got a big enough military, you could whip the Islamic State all by yourself. So here's the deal. You defeat the Islamic State by yourself, or we are going to arm the Kurds to the teeth and let them go after ICE. Good luck with your southern border. And I wouldn't care which one. But no, the answer is not helping the Iraqi army. It's getting weapons directly to the Kurds. I've spent a bunch of time up there. Those people, they will fight. Now, they may end up wanting an independent state from Iraq. I don't care. They will defeat our enemy for us. We ought to help them do it.
Well, I have to say, Congressman Gohmert, you're the first representative elected official I've had on the air that has called Turkey out on this. They're our NATO ally. They got the biggest army outside of the U.S. in NATO. They're sitting on it. They're obsessed with Assad, taking out Assad in Syria. They're totally obsessed with that. They've sucked us into that, and now they're not doing anything to help us. So I love the way you outlined it. It's like pick one, either go in there with your army and defeat them, or we're going to arm the Kurds, and you're going to have to figure it out. And you've got like a week to decide. I mean, that would be the kind of leadership we need. We played a clip earlier by Secretary of State John Kerry yesterday that went on for 90 seconds that no one knew exactly what he said. Do you have any idea what our policy is now?
No, I do. The policy is that there is no policy, and what they have done, it's not a policy. They just keep helping our enemies. I mean, it is the most contorted situation, and I'm not kidding, John. People, our Arab, Muslim, moderate Muslim allies are very concerned in the Middle East. Heck, I'm sure you saw yesterday, Saudi Arabia, or in the last couple of days, Saudi Arabia is going to buy a nuke from Pakistan. I mean, this administration has turned the Middle East upside down. But the only way out is to help people that are truly our friends. And this administration, as our Arab moderate Muslim friends have said, has got to stop helping the people at war with us, and that is what they've done. This Judicial Watch group of documents they got just yesterday, Judicial Watch made clear that in the documents they have, it makes very clear that we have been helping the Muslim Brothers and Al-Qaeda. We helped the Muslim Brothers and Al-Qaeda in Libya to overcome Gaddafi. And, the more we find out, the more it is verified. We're helping. This administration has been helping our enemies, and heaven help us, we have got to stop supporting our enemies. In Syria itself, they keep talking about the vetted, moderate Syrian rebels. If you look, John, at the quotes from the leaders of the vetted, moderate Syrian rebels, they keep saying, hey, we're brothers with the Islamic State. We disagree about Assad, but we'll fight with ICE about it against anybody else. We're brothers. We're in this together. And yet we keep sending weapons to these people that go straight to the Islamic State. I don't know how stupid you have to be not to understand what's happening in this administration, but they just keep helping our enemies.
Makes no sense. This is the John Fredericks Radio Network across Virginia with Texas Congressman Republican Louie Gohmert, 1st District in Texas. Congressman Gohmert, let's get to Lindsey Graham yesterday saying, look, what we need to do is send 10,000 troops to fight ISIS. It sounds like Vietnam trickle down to me. What say you?
Well, Lindsey is such a great guy. He just misguided on this. He and his good friend Kaine were misguided when they went to Egypt after 30 million of the 90 million people rose up peacefully and said, give us a president who's not destroying our Constitution. They ousted Morsi. McCain and Lindsey went over to Cairo and demanded that the Muslim Brother be put back in charge, the guy that had been persecuting Christians and Jews. So, I just think he's misguided. I think 10,000 troops over there would be a disaster. I think it's time to use the strategy that we successfully used in Afghanistan before, really, John, only about 300 American troops. All we had in Afghanistan when we defeated the Taliban by October of 2002. Then we added tens of thousands of troops and became occupiers and lost the occupation.
We don't do real well on in that part of the world. So I think we can do it with hundreds instead of thousands. And let our special ops guys help, but let's don't get 10,000 or tens of thousands back in there. Let's let the people that will truly fight, and just help them do it.
That's right. Makes no sense to put 10,000 troops in there. I certainly wouldn't want my son or daughter going over there under those circumstances. Congressman Gohmert, I can say that. Let's get to the authorization of course, layman's terms, declaring war our senator, one of our senators from Virginia, junior senator, Democrat Tim Kaine, we've been with him on this for some time. He's been saying, look, we can't keep fighting this conflict without the president coming to Congress and getting an authorization of force, AUF. The president has finally said, fine, I'll do that. Now your leadership is just holding it up. What's the problem?
Well, I'm not sure that we need another AUMF. I mean, the president has all the authority he could possibly need from the AUMF that was September of 2001. And actually, the AUMF he's asking for is going to help tie his hands in ways that, a good president would not need. So I just don't see why a new AUMF is necessary. And you got to understand, anytime this president has asked for something, there were loopholes in it that let him do things that were not what he was telling the American people he was going to do. I don't trust this administration. I don't want to give them any additional authority that Bush didn't have. This president's taken far more authority than the Constitution gives him. He just needs. John, look at the original AUMF. He has all the power he needs from that, and I don't think we need a new one. So thank you very much, Mr. Kaine, but you need to tell your buddy in the Democratic Party to actually start fighting our enemies and quit helping our enemies and help our friends instead, and quit worrying about a new AUMF. He will be able to defeat ICE if he just starts helping our friends and stops helping the enemies.
Congressman Louie Gohmert.
That's a red herring. That AUMF, it's a red herring. It's a crock. The problem is the president's on the wrong side. That's the real problem.
Why do you say it's a red herring, sir?
Because it's distracting from the failed leadership. Oh, don't look at the horrible leadership and supporting our enemies and hurting our friends in the Middle East. Look over here. It's all about an AUMF. If we get a new AUMF, everything's solved. Forget the failed leadership. It's all about the AUMF. That's a distraction away from the real issue of failed leadership of our president.
Congressman Louie
I mean, seriously, John, you think a new AUMF is all of a sudden going to give us a president that will fight with the right people over there and win over there? Really? I think, and everybody else wants to ask that question about, would you have gone into Iraq, knowing what you know now? And I think if President Bush had known that he would have a total incompetent follow him that would not even be able to negotiate a status of forces agreement with Iraq, that would start helping our enemies and just totally put the Middle East in chaos, then he would have to think twice about doing anything if he had known he would have such a total incompetent leader take over after him. That should be the question.
But one thing, though, you have to admit that the AUMF would do, it would make Obama come to Congress and lay out what his strategy is. And right now we don't, as you said earlier, sir, we don't have one.
Well, actually, it wouldn't actually require that, John. They're over here asking for a new AUMF, as you said. Senator Kaine is saying, let's get this new AUMF. That pitch has been made in the House, but nobody has laid out what his strategy is. They just want the AUMF passed, and then once you pass it, then you'll find out what's in it. Then you'll find out what our strategy is. But nobody is making a case for what his strategy will be if a new AUMF is passed. So he's not making that case. So, gosh, yeah, if he came to Congress and said, here's our strategy and this is why I need it, that would be one thing. But what they're saying is, including Senator Kaine, you pass the AUMF and then you'll find out what a wonderful strategy is. Well, I am sorry, I do not believe that.
We got 2 minutes. I want to get to fast track trade, TPA authority. That's going to pass the Senate. The only way to stop this is in the House. How do you stand on this?
I stand that this is a disaster waiting to happen. This president, again, has been on the wrong side of everything. If you pass the TPA, then you will not be able to stop the TPP.
Right.
And it's going to give the president a massive power over immigration. He'll be able to dock other agreements with other countries into this deal, and we will have no real say on any of that. I think it's a mistake, and I'm sorry that that's being led by so many Republicans over here. I don't know if we can stop it or not, but I am not for giving this president any more blind authority over the country. He's supposed to come to the Senate anytime there is a treaty, and whether you want to call it an agreement, a TPA, a TPP, whatever it is, it's a treaty, and it should have 2/3 of the support of the Senate. And until we see this president start getting things right, I'm not for giving him more authority.
Well, as far as the Trans-Pacific Partnership Trade Agreement, Congressman Gohmert, you can't even read it. It's under lock and key downstairs in that dungeon where you got to get security. You can't bring staff
I tried
in.
all last week to get an appointment, and they were busy, and they won't let you come after 5. I flew in early yesterday so I could go over there, and they didn't have any. No, we don't have any slot. You can't come see it. Well, I'm telling you what, the American people ought to know what the agreement is. And, gee, I know that makes it tough to negotiate. I've been a mediator, arbitrator. I've been involved in all those things. I've negotiated massive deals, and I'm telling you, it shouldn't be that hard for the president to tell the other folks that he's negotiating with, look, you're negotiating with the United States of America, and in America, we have to get 2/3 of the U.S. Senate to support any treaty, any agreement I make. So we're going to have to make this public, and therefore you've got to give me good enough terms that when the public finds out, then people will be for it. And the problem is, I don't believe these are fair terms, and that's why they want to keep them secret. So, yeah, you're exactly right. They're keeping it under lock and key, and I'm sick and tired of us helping the president with his strategy of passing things and then finding out what's in them.
All right, Congressman Louie Gohmert, 1st District of Texas. We're out of time. We want to thank you for being with us. We're going to get you back next week for an update on TPP and to talk about the Patriot Act. Thanks for telling the truth, and thank you, sir, for fighting the good fight.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you so much. Pleasure being with you.